All right, everyone. Yesterday you had a disgraceful act by the legacy media. What happened? Long story short, the Ralph Retort was doing like a charity stream for I believe St. Jude's, cancer research for children. They raised over $25,000 overall in pledges. The idea is you can allocate. I guess YouTube allows you now to allocate super chats to cancer research and other charities that they work with. It's a good thing. It makes sense. A huge amount could potentially be raised. Can you imagine if PewDiePie said, hey, I'm going to raise fucking money for, fucking Animal Society or something, for the Audubon Foundation. You can super chat me for this hour. Can you imagine how much money he can raise? He should do that, but he could probably raise $250,000 quite easily. He'd be like, yeah, I'm setting the goal at $500,000 for this fucking foundation. He could do that every week, do a charity stream. By the way, it'd be a really good branding opportunity for him, probably. No, even though he wouldn't make himself any money off it, he'd probably sell a lot more merch. But the Ralph Retort, Killstream gets on, they raise this money. Apparently what happened is that the Wall Street Journal pressured St. Jude's to decline the pledges. They came out and they said, well, basically, yes, we were the ones that made this decision. Why do you think they did? It's not in the nature of a cancer research fund to turn down a 5-figure total. It doesn't make sense. It's quite a large donation. This isn't, hey, grandma gave him $10 this month. 25 grand. That's a lot of money. I wish somebody would offer me fucking 25 grand. It'd be one. Yeah, no more student loan problems, that's for sure. Here's the thing. Who do you think pressured them? Could it be the Wall Street Journal, who's, a person there? I can't remember what name I've got. Yori Ko, I believe it is, a journalist so-called for the Wall Street Journal, had apparently messaged Ralph and said something to the effect of going to create a hit piece, in no uncertain terms, based on super chats. Basically, the Ralph, if you know anything about the Killstream, a lot of the super chats are edgy, deliberately offensive. It's trolling, but I mean, let's say that someone pays $100 to say some Nazi stuff, but it's going to cancer kids. I would think that they wouldn't care. It's like, hey, yeah, sorry you've got cancer, but this money we can't give to you because it came from a person who has wrongthink. We've got to be political. We've got to maintain our branding image. A branding image that now involves removing tens of thousands of dollars for cancer research. Wonderful. Yes, it totally didn't backfire. The thing is, the Wall Street, and link in the description to the article that ended up going up. It's about how racist people... In the wake of the synagogue shooter, the problem with racist super chats. You fucking fools. You're attempting to link the Never Trump synagogue shooter with the Killstream, and then Ralph Retort's channel goes down. I wonder who could have possibly targeted it. The thing is, the Wall Street Journal's done this repeatedly. They were the ones that opened up the can of worms months and months after I predicted that YouTubers would be targeted by the corporate media because we were slowly beginning to replace them in popularity. The Wall Street Journal made its famous hit piece with regards to PewDiePie, in which they claimed he was dog whistling to racists in order to get more subscribers. I had pointed out prior, yeah, he's taking up a Trumpite strategy with regards to his branding, but the idea that he was dog whistling to racists is purely untrue. He was simply getting into meme culture because it works. We said Bolsonaro's done this to win re-election. Orban's done this. Other political figures are doing this because they realize it works. Self-made, sort of self-marketed figures online, e-celebs of various stripes, they're doing it. It's not just people on the right, and it's certainly not just identitarians. As far as I know, Ralph is not like, Stormfront mode. But then again, the Wall Street Journal thinks if you wear a MAGA hat, you're going to go postal. So the Wall Street Journal did that. Sometime later, they did a hit piece that involved, and it was the same dude that wrote the PewDiePie article. They wrote a hit piece. I was named there as a far-right YouTuber alongside BP Earthwatch, who's sort of on the what would you call it, the Bible-thumping side of YouTube, the weird side of YouTube that overlaps with Christian religiosity. No offense to him, but it's what I see it as anyway, and you look at the recommended videos, it kind of is. And then InfoWars, which of course has been basically depersoned. What I'm saying is there is no problem with racist super chats, hateful comments, edgy content on YouTube. These things have always been happening. As long as there's been a commenting function, there's been a huge amount of trolling. If you think that there's a lot of hate and vitriol on YouTube now, you should have seen it 10 years ago. The Wall Street Journal, though, is using it as an excuse to attack its competitors. Look, the Wall Street Journal competes for the same kind of audience usage as live streamers on YouTube, as people who analyze politics and society like I do, and now increasingly as well, alt tech. Why do you think Gab's been deplatformed? This is all about money. And they don't want, in a million years, the idea to take hold. The edgy people on YouTube can, in order to outflank the corporate media, raise money for noble causes. You're not supposed to do that, Ralph, because you're supposed to be a one-dimensional Nazi villain. That's what the Wall Street Journal wants you to be. Otherwise, they can't target you. If you're hateful supposedly, but you're raising $25K for cancer kids, it makes it more difficult for them to deperson you, and it makes it more difficult for them to outmaneuver you in any verbiage, so to speak. They did this to InfoWars, like imagine. Don't you think they were worried about the possibility? What would happen if Alex Jones said, oh, we're going to raise money for AIDS research or something? They raised like $1 million for it. That would have been a problem for these groups now, wouldn't it? So what they do is they're very worried because they're looking at this and saying, oh shit, if super chats can be allocated to charity, people that we want to knock offline through lies, through smear campaigns, they might preempt us. They might all of a sudden, they might get in the news for raising, $250,000 for the Humane Society or something. Going to be kind of difficult to write a hit piece about them. We'll get attacked. We've got to cut off, we've got to nip this in the bud right away. That's why they attacked you, Ralph. They're a bunch of cowards. Apparently had messaged him saying there was going to be a hit piece, and then as channels go down right afterwards, totally fucking coincidental that happens. It was not planned. It was not coordinated. There's nothing to see here, folks. Totally normal. No, it's not normal. It's not normal long-term online in any way, shape, or form. It's also not normal that the corporate media would be so desperate that it would have to write hit pieces on people that are supposedly irrelevant. 2 years ago, they're like, yeah, YouTube, that funny stuff. That's where you see cat videos and stuff. YouTube's not even quite at that point, like, it's like 10 years old, back in 2013, 2014 and stuff. YouTube was still a joke. They considered it to be funny. It's cat videos and humor and stuff, sometimes dirty humor and edgy stuff, and they didn't have a problem with it. They didn't have a problem with it until the lines were blurred between that edgy humor, between the irreverent satire and mockery and actual political commentary, especially in the wake of attacks on the corporate media that it deserved. Like when the Wall Street Journal comes out and tries to smack PewDiePie in the cock. People need to bring that up in the same context because it's the same concept. When you have, by the way, apparently the reporting system being misused by the Wall Street Journal, which is presumably a priority creator on the site, to harass another user simply because of the content of their super chats, to preempt them from doing a stream with regards to the Wall Street Journal targeting them in the first place and being mean to cancer kids, that is quite troublesome and worrying. There's a reason why that hashtag, WSJ kills kids, exploded across Twitter for a few hours. It still is. Yeah, so I condemn that. Like the Wall Street Journal's tried to defame me too, and BuzzFeed picked it up afterwards. Again, total coincidence. No collusion between these groups at all. They don't have the same pool of competitors quickly rising up to throttle them that they're all trying to stop through various malevolent methods. And they're stooping to tactics that were used during the Gilded Age, trying to censor and suppress and intimidate and harass. Those are old strategies. It's not like this is a new thing. The new media that's rising up with the new technological paradigm is having to deal with the same shit that muckrakers did back in the fucking dawn of the 20th century. Or that journalists, really, they've had to deal with continuously during the Red Scare, being muzzled then. Or in Soviet Russia. It's surprising how similar it was on both sides of the pond, so to speak. People often think that here in the West things were hunky-dory and those evil commies were the only ones censoring things. No, trust me. It was just a little bit less overt over here. That's about all. Peace out.